Now, if you guys didn't see it already, the media and the MLB were successful in their agenda against Aaron Judge, as Cal Raleigh has overtaken the number one MVP odds spot over the best player that we'll ever see in our lifetimes in Aaron Judge. And it just shows you how corrupt these sports are in general, especially the MLB in this case, because it just shows you they don't care about facts or production or actual skill sets. None of that actually matters. It's just about who you like more. As we saw with the NFL this past season with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, if you like somebody more, you're going to have the power to, push the agenda towards them. If you don't like somebody for various reasons that I don't even want to get into, then, you're going to have an agenda against them, and it's going to be successful a lot of the time. That's what's going on right now in the MLB. It's pretty disgusting, objectively disgusting, actually, because if you look at the odds yesterday, right? Now, for people who don't sports bet or don't really look into odds, heading into last night's game, Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh had a split even -115 odds, which again means that it's 50% each, or 50% chance that each of them could win MVP. So yesterday's game, you might be asking what happened after that. Cal Raleigh was 3 for 5 with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs and 2 runs. Aaron Judge, what did he do? 3 for 4 with a walk, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs and 2 runs. They literally couldn't have played any different. They both played against the worst teams in the MLB as well, in Colorado Rockies and Chicago White Sox. So please don't use the team excuse. Yet, you might be asking, all right, the odds should probably stay the same since they played at the same exact level. Nope, Cal Raleigh's now -200 to win MVP. So somehow he went from -115 to -200, despite Aaron Judge playing every bit as good as he did. And it just shows you that this is not baseball. It has nothing to do with baseball. The agenda was already out in full force, and now they're gonna just run away with it. And it's quite frankly, it's very cringe. You know what I mean? Because there's no reason those odds should have jumped up that much, despite Aaron Judge playing every bit as good as Raleigh did. And by the way, those odds are disgusting anyways. Aaron Judge shouldn't even be. Aaron Judge should be -600. You know what I mean? You look at the statistics, you look at the actual facts. Aaron Judge is leading the league in batting average, 328, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS plus. He's leading the league in walks. He's leading the league in B-WAR, batting average, baseball reference WAR. He's leading the league in F-WAR, Fangraphs WAR. Again, this is not a real conversation amongst people who actually I don't want to single out anyone's intelligence, but people who really know baseball knows that this isn't a conversation. You know what I mean? People who run in it with an agenda, they don't like Aaron Judge, they don't like the Yankees. Sure, say that, but don't just pretend like Aaron Judge is not the most valuable player in the MLB this season and last season as well. And again, people always say the home runs. Cal Raleigh has 60 home runs, Judge has 51. If you're really gonna make an MVP because somebody has 9 more home runs despite them being literally worse at every facet of baseball, statistically, then that's just a foolish thing to do. You know what I mean? Because you look at the intentional walks. Aaron Judge has 34 intentional walks. Cal Raleigh only has 16 intentional walks despite having 60 home runs. He only has a 360 on base percentage. Teams do not fear Cal Raleigh. You know what I mean? I like the big dumper. You know what I mean? I do like him. He's, like I said, I was a fan of Cal Raleigh since 2021. You know what I mean? Before he really blew up. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he's not on Aaron Judge's level. And having him as an MVP over a guy who's a top 5 player in MLB history in the midst of his prime, that would be a pretty bad look for the MLB. Because, again, I don't want to hear nothing about voter fatigue. Shohei Ohtani's going to win his 4th MVP this season, rightfully so. Barry Bonds won 7 MVPs. I don't want to hear about voter fatigue. That's not a real thing in baseball. This isn't the NFL or NBA. But, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm genuinely puzzled right now. I did not expect to see the odds jump up that much. But at the end of the day, we all know who's the best player in baseball. It's Aaron Judge. But I just wanted to say, very disgusting from the MLB. I'm pretty disappointed in them. And again, people might be saying I'm just a biased Yankees fan or whatever. First of all, I am a Yankees fan, obviously. But second of all, nobody's harder on Aaron Judge than I am. Yankees fans, in my family, my friends, they consider me an Aaron Judge hater just because how much I criticize him come October. But at the end of the day, I'm speaking as a baseball fan, not as an Aaron Judge fan, not as a Yankees fan, as a baseball fan. Every baseball fan should be pretty disgusted right now in the MLB because, we have a once-in-a-lifetime talent, a top 5 player of all time, gonna miss out on the MVP because, an agenda. You know what I mean? And again, respect to Cal Raleigh. He's one of the best catching peaks we've ever seen. He's had one of the best catching peaks we've ever seen. And he's a top 10 player in the league, sure. But again, we don't know. It's no discussion. It's no debate. Yeah, it's not really a conversation to be had. You know, the number one argument people use for Cal Raleigh is the home runs, which we already discovered is mainly just because of Aaron Judge doesn't get pitches to hit because he's the most feared hitter since Barry Bonds. You know what I mean? 34 intentional walks versus 16. That's not even counting the gap in walks since Judge does not get pitchable, hittable balls. He doesn't. Cal Raleigh does. He has a 360 on base percentage because, again, they don't fear him like that. You know what I mean? And they say because he plays catcher. Cool. Catcher is a premium position that should definitely factor in. But we have stats that factor in stuff like, positional value such as WAR, in which Aaron Judge's B-WAR, baseball reference WAR, is a 9.3. Cal Raleigh's a 7.4. That's a big gap. Then Fangraphs has it a little closer. Aaron Judge's F-WAR is 9.4 and Cal Raleigh's is 8.8. But again, those are two sources that, factor in positional value. And it still says that Aaron Judge is not so much, but Aaron Judge is clearly better still this season, despite Cal Raleigh being a catcher. So again, there's no way to objectively look at this and say Cal Raleigh deserves MVP. If you're objectively speaking, you would already have, agreed to just crown Aaron Judge, give him his third MVP, should be fourth. But whatever, it looks like Cal Raleigh's going to win MVP. Let me know what you guys think of this down below, and thanks for watching.